There is a very subtle difference between attachments and addictions. Both of them start with the repeated contemplation or dhyana over the vishaya or the objects. Now, attachment is the more initial stage where when you come in contact with the associated guna, you are becoming more and more, developing more and more likeliness for that trait. However, attachment occurs more at the level of mind. Therefore, there is no fleeting sensual pleasure, dopamine surge associated with the quality of attachment. On the other hand, addiction happens in the later stages of exposure to the Vishaya, where there is relentless pursuit of the Vishaya to create intermittent dopaminergic surge. You really don't have a lot of mind fondness for that activity or object, but you are attracted or pulled towards it inadvertently, often seems like, due to the yearning or the craving that intermittently arises inside you. Does this craving arise in the brain or at the level of senses? Obviously, this craving arises at the level of brain or mind. So, the senses are not in a state of pain, but there is still a yearning to do it because it has been a while, which tells you that the senses are teleporting the information to the brain to go and pursue it again based on its past experiences. Attachment, as long as it knows, or the body knows, individual knows that they have that object around them, they won't seek a union with it at the moment all the time. But addiction will seek a return to the object periodically to gain that high or sense of sensual pleasure. Unfortunately, this high or sense of sensual pleasure keeps diminishing with each exposure. Attachment, on the other hand, regardless of how many times you see the object to which you are attached, tends to remain constant and sometimes actually goes up even without the object being around you. However, addiction will totally disappear if enough time has been given, what I call extinguishing feature to it. So, in short, addictions occur more at the level of senses because there is a sensual pleasure and that traps the mind to keep coming back to the object. Whereas attachment is more of a mental connection towards something that you are fond of, that you have been repeatedly exposed to. So, both in case of attachment and addiction, there is a repeated exposure. The repeated exposure can happen in terms of periodic exposure to the object of gratification, which is addiction, and tends to become more tamasic over time because there is this relentless pursuit character involved in addiction. Whereas attachment believes wants just a reassurance, a calmness that yes, that thing of object of some sort of gratification is there for me to use it when I need it. So when you're in times of stress and you're trying to get an answer, then you might seek the object of attachment. Whereas when you are stressed and depressed and anxious and upset and irritated, then you go towards more object of addiction. So in many ways, to survive in this world, attachment seems like most of the times a very important requirement because you're a social animal and you like to be gregarious and convivial and talking to people. So attachment should be permissible for most folks. However, addiction is what gets them into the trap and further devolution of the soul. So, even in the chapter 2, Shloka, very clearly the sequence has been outlined by Krishna. Dhyayate Vishyan Punsa Sangesh te Shubhjayate. संगात संजायते कामा कामात क्रोध अभिजायते क्रोधात भवति सम्मोहा सम्मोहात स्मृति विभ्रमा स्मृति भ्रंशात बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात प्रणश्यति ध्यायते विषयान पुंसा repeatedly contemplating sangesh teshu attachment happens, and when attachment happens, then it leads to kama and krodha, which are basically modes of rajas. But if they remain there for long enough, they get transmuted into tamas, which is संगात संजायते कामा कामात क्रोध अभिजायते क्रोधात भवति सम्मोहा. So the sammoha or the delusion state where there is relentless pursuit and fixed firm belief that cannot be wiped off your mind is the state of addiction. So my friends, everything of course starts with dhyayate, but you might feel that dhyayate or the dhyana or the thinking comes automatically to you in case of addictions. So the only way to cut it out, because that is causing delusion and devolution of the soul, totally against what the soul incarnated in the body to attain. It's a big distraction that just keeps you taking detours and miss your destination totally. So that's what the delusional detours will do in the mode of tamas when you're in addictions. So the only, or at least the way I think of, the major way of blocking addictions is through vairagya, because of course the yearning is pulling you towards it. Like say 1 every 3 days you get hungry, or once every 3 hours you get horny, or whatever that character of sensual gratification is, listening to good music, tasting good food, seeing good sights, touching, whatever the sensual pleasures have created an imprint of yearning in the brain, that will recur constantly because it's at the level of senses. It's very jad. So when it is not there, you have to castigate it. You have to criticize it, and that is the mode of vairagya. That is the mode of ninda or criticism, and that is what will slowly stop that yearning from coming, because now you're using the mental mind manas power to dissect and delineate through the power of rajas what is wrong with that compulsive act that we are engaging in. Smoking, drinking, gaming, gambling, stock market, you name it, anything. And all of these have this compulsive component of inadvertent attraction towards them. So not getting into the mode of addiction is the prime goal of our life, because then we are out of delusion, and then we can use more the power of rajas instead of tamas. And once we are in rajas, we can modulate our dhyato or dhyana to go more into meditation, rumination, contemplation, rather than in the mode of attachment, and for sure not in the mode of addiction. But this is a spectrum that follows from dhyato to sangeshteshu to krodh, kam, and smriti bhranshat, buddhinasho. So that triad has there, but has a sequence that starts with contemplation into the rajasic attachment, into the tamasic delusion that leads to devolution of the soul. The jeev becomes jad, the atman becomes nature, the purush becomes prakriti, and that is the whole problem. You might have seen the movie Matrix, in which Neo and Anderson, or Mr. Anderson and Agent Smith are fighting, and that's basically showing the fight between Purusha and Prakriti, in which the witnesser, knower, enjoyer suddenly becomes the object of enjoyment. So too much attachment, and that is the power of the gunas. Influencing associations will make you one like them. If you get too much fond of them, that attraction will transmutate the knower into the knowledge, or the field, I should say. So it is very important for the Purusha to remain Purusha and not become Prakriti. Prakriti is fond of a very stringent set of rules that it uses all the time to attract things that come in contact with. And that is the fear of any desire, that yamam yapi smaran bhav tyajante kalevaram tam tame vaiti kante sadbhav bhaveta. Whatever you think, contemplate, ruminate all the time, constantly, is what nature you will attain in next life. So the tamas guna, which is the guna of inertia, indolence, slothiness, of constant attraction without questioning the status quo, that has a very jad or prakriti, or a very field nature to it, which means it will pull you toward itself with a strong force, and once you are in it, it will not let you go because of the sticky nature. So very important to use the fire of rajas to burn this sticky adhesive nature of tamas, to get out of it, and then use dhyana, contemplation, using vairagya, which is detachment and criticism of the downsides of tamas and rajas, to get out of the mold of tamasic delusion causing addictions or rajasic attachments. I hope you like this audio. Feel free to leave your comments below.